All right, so my phone is being a jerk, and I guess my storage is full, but it took me a while, but I finally got it. So we're gonna finish up this problem. Maybe this will be combined, maybe it'll be a part 1 and a part 2. Not really sure. But when we left off, we had finished, and we got the p-value in t. So let's go ahead and write that out. And so we got t equals negative 0.077, p-value equals 0.4697, so well above 5%. And don't forget, degrees of freedom is 1 minus the sample size. We got to get that in there. All right, so also, I put in the statement here, that does awesome. So right here, no strong, I went ahead and even wrote it out before I even saw the graph, because it's not going to work unless that's the case. So we would have to do that. But in order to see that, I'm going to go second stat plot. I'm going to hit enter. Now again, this one's all set up because I tested it out already, but you want to always pick the docs plot that has the little dots on it, and X list L1, and then zoom 9, always zoom 9 to the graph. Okay, and then there's the box plot. We need to redraw this over here. And I can use my trace to help me. So I've got 478. Actually, what I usually like to try to do is kind of draw it to scale about. It's not going to be perfect, but pretty close. All right, so this was 478, and then this is 8 something, so 500 is going to be about right there. And then this line was almost at 1,000. This is like 1,004, so I'm going to put 1,000 right here. Okay, that's not 1,000. And by that one, 1,500. Actually, we need 1,500 a little bit further out. And because we need that scale to be consistent, try to squeeze that one in a little bit more for 1,000. Maybe we'll just move that 500 a little bit. And again, remember, I'm not going to get a ruler out, but it needs to be visibly a consistent scale, and this is ours. So no strong skewness. Don't say no skewness, because there is skewness, but no strong skewness, no outliers. And then on this one, since the p-value of 0.4697 is greater than alpha, 0.05, we failed to reject the null hypothesis. So our average was under 1,000, but it wasn't under 1,000 enough to have convincing evidence based on the sample size and the results. So we do not have sufficient evidence that the bulbs are low quality. Or do not, that the true mean hours is not 1,000, that's something like that. Interpret the p-value. So the p-value, I'm gonna kind of, you know what I was saying. So we'd say if mu does equal 1,000 hours, the probability that we got our sample, or a smaller one, but I'm going to say or one more extreme, is 0.4697. I was like 50-50, so that certainly is not going to prove anything. And then it says describe one and describe type 2. And this one, they say which one's worse. This one is a little more obvious. So a type 1 is we rejected, which is not what we did. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the second one because I already have that basically written right here. So we do not have evidence that the bulbs are low quality, but in fact they are. All right, so we don't have evidence that they're bad, but they are bad. So in this case, we send the bulbs to our regular customers and they get a lower quality. And what happens if they get a low quality? They lose their customers forever. So the consequence is, say this means we ship poor bulbs and lose our customers. No customers, no business. A type 1 error is when you have evidence that the bulbs are bad, but in fact they are not. Okay, this means we ship them off internationally for no profit. Okay, and that's not good either, okay? But that's a one-time loss of revenue. And then you start going back and making more bulbs and try to do something to make them better. Okay, but again, and you're not, in this case, they're not even losing money, they're just losing a profit because they're still at least going to recoup their expenses. And I tried to make that one, you know, try to make something else to talk about with the follow-up. And then which one's worse? The type 2, and I'm out of space and I'm just not going to jam that in there, but a type 2 is worse because that has long-term negative effects to the company. Not just we didn't make profit for the last week or something like that. Instead of losing a week's worth of profit, we're closing the business. Anyway, I hope that helps, and I guess we'll see if I can figure out how to splice 2 videos into one. I don't like the chances of that though, I'm not gonna lie to you.